You could spot the teal sign from a half mile away on a gray Minnesota morning. A splash of color, a promise of warmth. Step inside, and the first thing you notice isn't the coffee. It's the people, the greetings, the small talk that somehow feels genuine. It's the upper Midwest. That's not just coincidence. That's culture by design. Hey, it's Nick. Welcome to the Ricochet Moment, where I dive into the stories behind the brands and focus in on the moment that things changed forever. Today's Ricochet Moment is about a brand that didn't follow the market leader. It chose to follow its own compass. Caribou Coffee looked across the street at Starbucks during its meteoric rise and decided to play a different game. Not louder, closer. Not everywhere, right here. Let's rewind to 1992, Edina, Minnesota. John and Kim Puckett had just returned from a trip to Denali National Park, where a simple idea took root. If an ordinary day can hold a small sense of victory, why not design a coffee house that celebrates that? Not a corporate lobby, a neighborhood chalet. Their first plan was for downtown Minneapolis. Fell through. So they looked to the suburbs, an unlikely move that would shape everything that came after. Starting small, starting local. It didn't sound revolutionary, but that decision grounded Caribou Coffee in community rather than prestige. A foundation that would later prove to be their advantage when the market got crowded and the economy turned. By the mid-2000s, Caribou had become a public company. New leadership, hundreds of stores, a NASDAQ ticker symbol. But growth, as every brand learns, comes with noise. The coffee landscape was packed. Cafes on every corner. Competition on every block. When the same store sales softened in 2008 and 2009, Caribou hit a familiar fork in the road. Copy the leader's playbook or write a new one. And this is where the story pivots. In early 2010, Caribou relaunched its brand with a new focus. Less on expansion, more on experience. The rallying line was simple. Life is short. Stay awake for it. The refreshed logo, shaped like a national park badge, paid homage to the Puckett's Denali inspiration. Stores were reimagined with fireplaces, wooden textures, and community boards. Even the drinks, they got an update. Real chocolate instead of syrup. Real food instead of filler. It was a quiet rebellion in a loud category. Instead of sprinting to keep up with Starbucks, Caribou invested something harder to replicate: humanity. And that became the Ricochet Moment. The decision to compete not on caffeine, but on connection. Here's the thing about culture. It doesn't live in slogans. It lives in habits. If you study Caribou, you'll notice the details. Chairs turned towards conversation. A layout that invites lingering. Staff encouraged to connect rather than rush. Over time, those small design choices created something organic. Stories that marketing could never script. Marriage proposals, lifelong friendships, family traditions built around a morning cup. When your best stories come from your guests rather than your ads, that's not coincidence. That's proof. Then came the stress test, 2020. The third place, well, it vanished overnight. Dining rooms went dark. The car became a cafe. Most coffee brands turned to throughput charts. Caribou asked a different question. If people choose us for our people, how do we keep that alive through a headset? Their answer was the cabin format. A smaller store, a walk-up window, a simplified menu. Designed with input from field teams so baristas could spend more time with guests and less time fighting the layout. It scaled quickly, it worked, it kept the warmth intact. Faster, yes, but still personal. Because connection isn't a space, it's an intention. After years of steady rebuilding, Caribou entered a new chapter. In 2021, it joined the Panera Brands platform, gaining resources and reach while staying independent. Franchising restarted with a clear philosophy: grow through people who share the brand's values, not just people who can sign the check. It's a pragmatic balance, expanding the footprint without thinning out the soul. Let's talk identity. Caribou is unapologetically Midwestern. The park-inspired logo, the chalet vibe, the slower pace at the register, the real chocolate in the mocha. None of it feels curated. It feels lived in. A Caribou store fits next to a hockey rink or a grocery store because that's where it belongs. It's not nostalgia, it's resonance. The brand didn't chase the coasts. It amplified the heartbeat of where it started. Several lessons came out of that Ricochet. 1. The 2010 relaunch turned a tagline into a tangible culture. You can't outspend a rival's ad budget, but you can out-consistency their values. 2. The cabin drive-thru proved that humanity can scale if you design for it. Simplify the systems, and kindness has room to breathe. 3. The Panera partnership added fuel without dimming the flame. Proof that growth and integrity can coexist. 4. The community became the marketing. When your blog is full of love stories, friendships, and Sunday rituals, you're not fabricating engagement, you're curating. Most challenger brands lose their way in one of two ways. They chase the leader into a race that they simply can't win, or they dilute their difference until it disappears. Caribou did neither. It chose a smaller circle and made it brighter. The company built itself around a simple human truth. Morning coffee isn't just a beverage, it's a reset. And the person who hands it to you can change the shape of your day. Any brand in any category can learn from that. Find your smallest meaningful difference, the one you can defend for a decade. Build around it. Make it visible in your space, your words, your systems, and measure it in the stories people tell when you're not in the room. It's still early. The parking lot's a little slushy. Inside, a fire glows. A barista remembers who likes extra foam. A kid gets a cake pop to celebrate the week. A couple plans a hike with their dog and a thermos full of mocha. At the cabin window, someone hears a "good morning" that sounds like it was meant only for them. These aren't grand gestures. They're small ricochets. The market crowned a global giant. Caribou chose to be the local favorite. That wasn't settling. It was strategy. A decision that carried them through a rebrand, a recession, a pandemic, and a whole new wave of growth. The teal sign still says coffee, but it really means connection. Life is short. Stay awake for it. And say hello while you're at it. This has been the Ricochet Moment. The story of brands that change their future by changing the game. Until next time, and your Ricochet Moment.